Greetings. It is I. I'm here. I'm here again. Present, if you will. Let's turn the music on. Oh. Hope everyone has had a break of reasonable quality. Because, we're going to move on what we were doing last week. Which is editing old spells. Last week we did A and B. This is a big old product of mine, called the Archive of Esoteric Secrets. You can use the command !guild, which will take you to a link to my my portfolio, which has basically the product in question on it, and what is being updated. It's a very old product; it's about 2 years old. And I have changed substantially as a designer since then, and especially because a lot of the spells from that are up to 2 years older than the release of that product as well. A lot of them are very old. Some of them are very hit or miss in like design-wise. There are still some cool ones though. There are cool things in there. A lot of really great ideas. Just so happens that some of the content in there is really bad. And it needs to be fixed. And that's what we're doing. We're up to C. I'm going to aim to, in the next hour, at minimum, get through C. I'm not sure how long the stream is going to go. Probably going to be an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, depending on how I feel. There's certainly going to be a break in the middle, regardless. And I'm going to be doing this again tomorrow, where I intend to get up to H. Whether that's going to happen is another question entirely, but that's my intention. So the first one is Caustic Killer, which is a spell that I am a fan of, but is very awkward to use because it has a lot of text. And we're going to give it a read and see if it's reasonable, basically. Oh, I've gone past it. Where is it? There we go. 1 second. Oh, yeah. So, Caustic Killer, first level conjuration, casting time 1 action, range 20. This is wrong, this is range self. Components verbal, somatic, concentration up to a minute. Classes Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. You conjure up a bolt of acid, firing it forth in a 5-foot wide line up to 20 feet in length. So its length is optional, which is cool. Each creature in the area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw. Must make a habit of doing this. Must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, a creature suffers or half as much on a success. It hovers in the air as a globulous mass until the spell ends. Once the bolt reaches its destination, it hovers in the air as a globulous mass until the spell ends. As a bonus action before the spell ends, you can have the globule of acid fire a smaller bolt at a target creature within 20 feet. Within 20 feet of it. Let's say of the globule, it should just be 20 feet of it. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 2d4 acid damage plus an additional. Yeah, this is just too much. So this is just 3d4 acid damage. A globulous mass which remains in place until the spell ends, upon which, as a bonus action before the spell ends, until the end of your next turn. As a bonus action before the spell ends, you can have the globule of acid fire a smaller bolt of acid at a creature within 20 feet of it. Make a ranged spell attack against the target. On a hit, the target takes 3d4 acid damage. Hit or miss, the spell ends. When you cast a spell using a spell slot, first, second level or higher, the amount of bolts you can fire as a part, you can have the globule fire increases by 1 per spell slot for each spell slot level expended above first. Each bolt is fired as a part of the same bonus action. Can target different creatures. And can target different creatures or all against or all target the same creature. But each bolt requires its own separate attack roll. Okay. We've simplified this spell drastically. And also made it a lot better in the process. It's not concentration anymore, which is good. And it sticks around for about a round. So if you've already used your bonus action on the turn that you've cast it, you can wait until your next turn and then use it then as well. So it's, you know, a pretty okay spell. It's not anything mind-blowing, but it's a very dynamic spell. You send out a globule and then it kind of hovers in space. And it sort of hovers in space here, and then it can just like pew-pew fire off little bolts at things nearby, which is cool. And it also scales very well, because 3d4 acid damage, that's pretty crunchy scaling. It's not quite a scorching ray, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, Caustic Killer is all good now. Chaos Wave. Now this is sort of the next step up from Chaos Bolt, because I love Chaos Bolt, such a cool spell. Now Chaos Wave is a very different spell in the way that it functions, quite substantially at that. From Chaos Bolt, because it is an AoE. Why does it do that? There's a bug. I missed, I think. So, third level evocation, casting time 1 action, range of self, verbal, somatic, instantaneous. Just cut out like all of those. You unleash a surging wave of chaotic energy in a 30-foot cone extending out in front of you. Each creature caught in the area must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 4d10 damage, taking half as much on a success. Roll 2d8 for each creature caught in the spell's area separately. Choose one of the d8s. The number of rolls determines the damage, the type of damage dealt to that creature, as shown below. If you roll the same number on both d8s against a creature, that creature takes an additional 1d10 damage of the rolled type. And it upscales. So, yeah, I think this was just a rewording job. This is a weird spell, like, in the way that it works. There's a lot of, like, rolling dice that comes with... Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I just moved the mixes thing by accident. Yeah, the I think that works quite well. Now, Charge Bolt. I remember changing this spell quite recently because it was quite bad, and I think now it's actually very good. Or at least pretty reasonable anyway. There is Charge Bolt. Yeah, I don't think we need to touch Charge Bolt. I think Charge Bolt is fine. I remember changing Charge Bolt a long time ago. Chronosphere. Let me just put this one in real quick. First level transmutation, casting time 1 bonus action, range 60 feet, components somatic, 1 round, bard, cleric, sorcerer, wizard. You manipulate the power of time to slow the. I should probably say the passage of time to slow down an enemy. 1 creature of your choice within 60 feet. 1 creature. 1 creature that you 1 creature that you can see within 60 feet of you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw, or have its speed reduced by 10 feet and have disadvantage on the first attack roll it makes on its next turn. This is cantrip levels of power. This spell is awful. Like, this spell could easily be a cantrip, and it would make no difference. And that might just be what I do. Make this spell an action. And yeah, this spell is awful. I think I have an idea to make this spell a lot better though. Choose a creature that you can see within 30 feet of you. That creature must succeed on a wisdom saving. That creature must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, the target has its speed halved and suffers disadvantage on. How so? Yes, welcome in. No. Oh. And suffers disadvantage on attack rollers. Attack rolls. Oh, nice, nice. Very gamer, very gamer. Speed halved and suffers disadvantage on attack rolls until the end of your next turn. There we go. This is still not a very good spell, but it at least now does something, right? And then we can bump the range to like bump the range to like 90 feet. So this is an instance where, like, I don't know, you like throw out your chronosphere. Maybe you like, hell, this could be a fucking AoE. Like, this just straight up doesn't even need to be single target. because this spell is so niche. Yeah, like we're gonna scrap this as well because this is still bad. You create a localized field. You create a brief localized time well. Slows down your enemies. Choose a point that you at a point that at a point that you can see within range that slows down your enemies. Each creature within 10 feet of the chosen point must succeed on a... This is now reminding me of one of Kronos' abilities from Smite, except instead of... What does that ability stun? I think it does, but must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. Must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, a creature has its speed halved and suffers disadvantage on attack rolls until the end of your next turn. The radius of the time well increases by 5 feet for each spell slot level expended above first. So yeah, like if you want to catch like all of the minions or something, now this spell's actually quite good. Like if you know there's like a whole volley of archers sat up on like a ledge far out of the way, you can be like, no, fuck you, and then that's actually like pretty good. Oh fuck me, it's gotten dark out there fast. Christ. Huh. It's dark as shit now. Sheet's coming down. There. Got a bit more light in here now. You got the reflection of the blue and stuff. Oh, let's change it to turquoise. Is this... Yeah, that's so abrupt, but it's getting better. It's like probably about 4 weeks ago, an hour ago, it would have been that dark, if not darker. So we're coming out of winter now, which is nice. I'll actually get to like go outside and work, because fuck me, nothing is more productive than like sitting on a park bench with a laptop. If my laptop would last more than like 40 minutes without a direct charge input, I would do that every single fucking day. That's my aim, is to get myself a new laptop soon. I have the money to do it, but at the same time, it's not like sustainable. You know, I've got yeah, exactly. Say, it's no good, but like, I like going for walks. I can't really walk particularly far at the moment, the snow certainly isn't helping that. Okay. I think Chronosphere is an okay spell now, as opposed to a giant pile of shit. So that's good. That's been a long time coming. Is making that spell actually usable. Now there is Chrono Step, which is just kind of a weird spell, but it's actually pretty good. It's a 4th level spell. I also don't like the way that Chrono Step is named. It should be one word, and it isn't. It's a very simple spell in a very kind of neat and tidy little way. So, casting time, 1 bonus action, range, self components, somatic, duration, 1 round. You slow down time around you, moving at blinding speed. Until the end of your next turn, your movement is multiplied by 4, and you do not provoke attacks of opportunity for the duration. So basically, you fucking zoom. I think realistically, this effect is like how far can you, like 30 feet? You go like 120 feet as by spending your bonus action. This is probably, honestly, is good enough to only last the round. This is like your I need to escape now spell. Without it just being like Dimension Door is for when I want to leave. Like, whereas Chrono Step is I am in a bad position and I need to move. And it kind of takes up a little bit of that Dimension Door space, which I think probably a nerf is in order, because it is very good. Like, it's a bonus action. Obviously with Dimension Door you take someone else with you and you also go way further. Dimension Door is like a get out of jail free card in the right scenario, whereas this is a I want to like pivot around to the other side of the combat kind of spell, which I think is probably for the best that this is sort of dropped down. It's pretty instantaneous, realistically now, but that's fine. That doesn't really change anything. Right. Let's have a read of Clamoring Tones. It's a cantrip, so realistically, as long as the damage isn't weird, it's probably not necessary to give it a look. Clamoring Tones, an action barred rune shape of wizard. You create a hard ringing sound that will be heard 50 feet away at a point you can see within range. Each creature within 5 feet of the clamoring must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 1d4 thunder damage and be deafened until the end of your next turn. A creature is deafened in this way has disadvantage on ability checks as its head spins from the noise. Yeah, that's fine. It's a cool spell with 2 very niche additional abilities on top of it. Clamoring Tones is fine. So we can skip that. Comet Rush, if I remember correctly, I remember Joe telling me recently from an analysis, was it you or was it someone else that did that? Whereas it said it was like Comet Rush was very strong or something like that. I vaguely remember that anyway. So, 2nd level evocation, casting time 1 action, range of touch, verbal somatic material, a vial of space rock and ice, instantaneous for druids and wizards. You imbue a creature you touch with the speed and power of a flying asteroid. That creature flies up to 30 feet in a straight line, moving through any creature as if it were not there. Each creature caught in the line must succeed on a strength saving throw or take 2d8 bludgeoning damage plus 1d8 cold damage, taking half on a success. A creature that fails its saving throw also falls prone. Yeah, this spell's really good, but I like it. It's simple, it's kind of dumb. You bowl one of your buddies through, wait. You can cast this on your enemies. That's even funnier. And this is meant to be, it's like a willing creature, but this is so funny that this, I don't care. Like, I think really there should be a clause for if you target an unwilling creature, you make an attack roll again, or they make a dex save against the spell, or something. But you should still 100% be able to target enemies with this. Maybe not for free, because that's probably a bit much, but if you touch a non-willing creature, if you would touch a non-willing... No. If you would cast this spell on a non-willing creature, you must first hit that creature with a melee spell attack. No, you must make a melee spell attack against that creature. On a hit, the spell applies as normal. Otherwise, the spell fails. That's probably what that should be. Because whilst that's very funny, being able to just like poke someone and send them 30 feet away. A spell on an unwilling. Unwilling is an actual word as opposed to non-willing, which is not. Right, next spell is Constellation Message, which is a very simple spell. That's literally the next one. So, second level, Illusion Ritual. Casting time 1 hour, a range of self, verbal, somatic material, a golden paintbrush, and a pot of silver ink worth at least 150 gold pieces. Duration 1 week. For druids, sorcerers, and wizards, you conjure a false constellation in the sky that lasts for the duration. The constellation can look how you choose, but can only depict one creature or object, or spell one word. A creature can decipher the message with a successful intelligence check against your spell save DC. Any number of creatures you choose can see the message without making this check. The message can only be seen at night and appears among the other stars, no brighter or dimmer than any other. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd or 4th level, the spell duration increases to 1 month. 5th or 6th level increases to 6 months, and the illusory constellation cannot be seen by anyone except those you choose. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 7th level or higher, the spell lasts until dispelled. Problem is, how do you dispel an effect that is in space? How? That doesn't really work. So yeah, we're going to change the wording of this spell because it's kind of neat. It's Skywrite, but sort of more useful or just better, which is not really hard, but you know, still a point to be made there. It's also a ritual, by the way. Which I don't really. If it's an hour to cast the spell, it may as well just not be a ritual because you're not going to cast this on any day when. So I'm going to take the ritual tag off, I think. Paintbrush and a pot of silver ink worth at least 150 gold pieces. 1 week. The spell. The duration increases to 1 year. There we go. That's probably fairly simple. That's kind of a neat spell. Simple. It's a spell with a very unfortunate name. I gotta find it. Coroning Smite. Because the word corona is actually a really cool word that has, like, cool meaning. But will now get you, like, demonetized on YouTube, so F, I guess. Sad. First time you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack before the spell ends, you conjure a corona of radiant light around you, each creature you choose. So yeah, a corona is like, you know the eclipse where it has that ring of light? That's what a corona is that ring of light. So technically like a halo on an angel is sort of a corona. There's also those depictions of like Jesus and all the saints, like in Christianity, where they have those golden discs behind their heads. That's, to my knowledge, also a corona, but I think it has its own special name, which makes it different. I may be wrong there, but I'm gonna look that up actually, because I think that's actually wrong. Let me. I'm literally searching Jesus. Hang on, Jesus head circle. What is the circle around Jesus' head? I mean, it's just straight up just a representation of a halo. Yeah, so, yeah, it is just a two-dimensional representation of a halo. Because if it was just a line, then it would just be a line, so they put it behind his head. And I think they do it to all the saints as well. Maybe they do it to all the disciples as well? I don't know, it's been a long time since I've been in a church. Yeah, I remember changing this spell in the Smite rework, so I don't think I really need to touch it again. Corrosive Slime. I don't know what level this spell is. I want to say 4th. No, 5th, maybe? Corrosive Slime, there we go, yeah. Constantine, 1 action, range 60 feet. Verbal somatic material, a clump of black pudding. 5th level conjuration, concentration up to a minute. You gesture and a geyser of black slime bursts from the ground around a creature you can see within range. The target must make a Constitution saving throw, taking 5d6 acid damage on a failed save and half as much on a success. Also on a failed save, the target takes an additional 5d6 acid damage at the start of each of its turns whilst the spell lasts. A creature that... Okay, yeah, the spell needs a rewording because the way it's worded is very weird, but its effect is cool. It's like, it should also be a dex save and not a con save, because that's weird. Yeah, Corrosive Slime, cool spell. This makes sense. This is cool. It has a neat effect. Because I like damage over time in D&D, it's not well represented enough. Let's make a dexterity saving throw. On a failure, the target suffers 5d6 acid damage, taking the damage, and is coated in acid. A creature that starts its turn coated in this way takes the damage again. On a success, the target suffers half damage and the spell ends. A creature, the target or otherwise, can use their action to try to remove the slime. The creature must make a strength or dexterity check, the target's choice, against your spell save DC. On a success, the spell ends. Regardless, the creature that removes the slime, be it the target or another creature, I mean, that clause there is not necessary. The creature that removes the slime takes 2d6 acid damage. Regardless of success or failure, I'm going to put that back in. Just to be doubly clear. Regardless of success or failure, the creature that removes the slime takes... How about a creature that attempts succeeding or otherwise to remove the slime. Split level higher, the spell's damage increases by 1d6. Oh, did I? I think I just dropped a thing on the floor again. Fuck's sake. Yeah, this spell's kind of neat. It's not like a mystical, groundbreaking masterpiece or anything like that, but you know, it's not gonna like rewrite the annals of history or anything like that. But it is a cool spell. I think it's quite effective. It certainly does what it does very, very, very well, I think. So I am a fan. Next on the list, we're getting to the end of the sea spells. We've got 3 more to go. So I'm on track. I'm on track. We're not doing as much talking this time, I suppose. It's probably pretty. Ooh, create Flame Skull. This spell is pretty whack. For potentially obvious reasons, because for those of you who know, Flame Skulls are immortal. This spell tries to mitigate that, but does a pretty bad job of it. This is one of the big problem spells from this, but I think there are very much ways to make it work. As long as it's a 6th level spell, which I feel is a mistake. Sixth level Necromancy, casting time 8 hours, range, touch, verbal somatic material, the skull of a spellcaster, and a fine cut ruby gemstone with at least 1,000 gold pieces, both of which the spell consumes. See page. The Flame Skull loses its rejuvenation, or a Flame Skull created in this way loses its rejuvenation trait. When destroyed, you may reuse the skull in the subsequent casting of the spell, if the skull remains intact. So yeah, I think this probably makes it okay, because again, you need money and you need the skull of a spellcaster. Sure thing. I'll say send it by in a minute. I'll get to the end of these spells, and then I will take a look. If it remains intact, right? I think Create Flame Skull is okay now. Even so, it's maybe not, but I think realistically this should be a 7th level spell. Like ultimately, this is a 7th level spell. And I think it was definitely a mistake to print this as 6th. An 11th level character just kind of waltzing around with a Flame Skull is like probably a bit much. Crystal Core. This is a weird one if I remember correctly. I think it's an 8th if I remember correctly. Yes it is. Eighth level Evocation, casting time 1 action, range 30 feet, verbal somatic material, a diamond hourglass filled with stardust with at least 1,000 gold pieces, concentration up to a minute, sorcerer wizard. You conjure 4 crystalline structures in unoccupied spaces you can see within range. These cores float in place, filling a 5-foot area. As part of your action to cast a spell, or as an action on subsequent turns, you may have one or more of the crystals fire beams of energies at creatures within 15 feet of them. Make a ranged spell attack for each attacking crystal. On a hit, a target takes 3d6 force damage. Each crystal has hit points equal to 5 times your caster level and AC equal to spell save DC. Crystals all have immunity to poison, psychic, and radiant damage, as well as non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slapping damage not made from adamantine. The crystals all have resistance to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and necrotic damage. This, aside from a couple bits of rewording, this is actually fine. I was expecting this spell to be, like, I haven't read this spell, I think, since I made it. This was very much a space filler spell, and looking back on it now, this is actually a really cool spell. It has a distinctive use. Its power is, if anything, it's probably on the weaker side. It's not janky and weird. It actually, like, kind of works. or it just works. Like that's what I'm more surprised by like this. I remember very specifically this being like, hey, I've run out of ideas. I'm just gonna do this whatever spell. I very distinctly remember that, and I don't think I've ever looked at it since out of the assumption that it's just a giant pile of shit. And this is actually okay. If anything, this is like the only problem with this is it's kind of underpowered. Because you make 4 attacks as an action, which is pretty good, but like they do, well, like 3d6 force damage. Say realistically 3 of them are going to hit. If your spell attack bonus is any good, you 3 of the, which you're, as a 15th level character, if your attack bonus is not very good, then that's probably on you. Say 3 of them hit, you're doing 9d6 force damage, which is nothing to sneeze at, but like as a repeatable action, that's nothing particularly exciting. Yeah, I should be going for probably another hour or so, but yeah, I'll thanks for stopping by, Livy. See ya. I think what I might do, 4d4, just a little buff, not anything particularly crazy. We're going from, was it 3d6, which is, I want to say 10.5 to like 12. No, on average, no. Hang on, no, I did my maths wrong. No, we're going from 10.5 down to, and then 10. Wait a second. I'm going to say any dice this roll, which just to make sure I'm not like being an idiot. Huh, guess I am being an idiot. Wow. Go 5d4. What would be 4d6 in comparison to all of that? Oh, I put output instead of output. Whoops. Yeah, I think that certainly pumps it a little bit. If anything, I'm going to put this in red text, maybe come back to it later on, because I need to compare this to other 8th level spells. Basically, all this red text stuff I'm probably going to do in my own time, because it's just going to be me like noodling around with maths and stuff, so, and like consulting with other like designer friends about like, what should I do here? Now we're up to the last C spell, and it is Joe's favorite spell. Joe's favorite spell. His most favoritist. It is Crystal Breath. Now, I distinctly remember changing this because the original version of Crystal Breath. So yeah, welcome back, John. Welcome back. The original Crystal Breath didn't work. Like, it basically just trapped you in. It basically just petrified you for a minute, and there was nothing you could do about it. Which, you know, is bad. But this version, I don't like this version because it's too similar to another spell that exists in here, which I'm pretty sure is also 4th level, which is a very temporary form of petrification. But I think this is probably the best version of the spell that's ever going to exist. I think this crystal here is kind of unnecessary. You unleash a breath of light blue energy in a 10-foot cone in front of you. This energy hardens into a strong crystalline structure that engulfs enemies inside. Each creature within the area must succeed on a dexterity saving throw, become petrified until the end of your next turn. So basically, it's dex save or you lose your next turn. But it's not like stunned or paralysis where it's like, oh, I'm gonna die. It's, oh, I'm just out of the combat for like a round. You know, it's like it's you may as well have just been like blinked for a round, realistically. Creature of huge size or larger becomes is instead restrained by this spell on a failed save. Instead of petrified, because it only covers part of them, is the idea there. I mean, I've gotten to the end of the C spells. I'm definitely going to get to the end of D. D is a lot shorter, a lot simpler. But yeah, I'll take a look at this race now. Hang on, what's the Phaland? Oh, okay. Right. Screen capture. Your internal score increases by 1 due to both gnomish and dwarven blood. Feline last for hundreds. Felines probably live for hundreds of years, but that's just a grammar thing. They mature very slowly, around 75 years, and adulthood around 135. Tend to be neutral, albeit slightly unpredictable, as they constantly fight between the chaos wings, the unknowns, and the morphle sturdiness of dwarves. 3 and 4 feet tall, although some are even shorter. Your size is small. Speed is okay. You get the dwarf ability. You get dark vision. This is probably a bit much. Like, if you want to give them expertise, then that's this would be hang on, that's it would be you double your proficiency bonus. Oh Jesus Christ, there are so fucking many subclasses. Christ. Okay. This would be like you double your proficiency bonus on checks made with the chosen tool. Yeah, that actually works quite well as well. And it would be your checks made with the chosen tool. It's be common, gnomish, and dwarven. Okay, that's probably fine. Constitution score increases by 2. Okay, that's probably fine. You gain advantage on saving... Okay, right, so this would be... You gain advantage on saving throws against curses, poisons, or diseases. Or curses, diseases, or poisons. As opposed to pertaining to. It would just to make it in line with other game terminology, it would be on saving throws made against curses, diseases, or poisons. Sparkborn, I would change this to saving throws made against. So Sparkblood, charisma is, yeah, I mean the ability, the ASIs are fine. You know, the create. Oh, hang on, let me read the tiefling ability because I want to make sure that this is. Because this is like exactly the tiefling ability, which is fine, by the way. That's I want to make sure it is worded in the exact same way because that is important. Yes, it is. Okay. Create bonfire is a pretty awful spell. I would do produce flame or control flames, depending on whether you want them to have, whether you want it to be damaging or not. Honestly, I choose produce flame. I think that's the most sensible. Hellish Rebuke is fine. Agonizer's Scorcher is a very bad spell, so honestly I would choose something else, but I don't know what other options you actually have, so I will just double check and see what those options are real quick. But I'm fairly certain, like, that might actually be your only option, in which case, yikes, I guess. Yeah, yeah, I forgot that was even a thing, yeah. Scorching Ray. Heat Metal, also a good one. Yeah, Heat Metal is a strong one as well, but, yeah, I imagine, Scorching Ray. Yeah, I'd forgotten about Scorching Ray. But yeah, this I would definitely change to Produce Flame, or, oh yeah, no, you already changed to Control Flame, yeah. Yeah, Control Flame is cool. You ignore difficult terrain caused by broken earth or foliage, and you can see through naturally formed light obscurity, as if it were completely clear. For up to 30. Ooh, that is an ability that is not used anywhere. So let me just woodland adapt. Difficult terrain caused by broken earth or foliage. Additionally, you can see through lightly obscured areas caused by natural environments, such as light, foliage, or fog. Fog, as if it were unobscured out to a range of 30 feet. And then I would make it so it would be bonus proficiency. You have proficiency in the nature skill. Lightly obscured areas caused by natural environments such as light foliage or fog, as if it were unobscured out to a range of 30 feet. That's a pretty neat ability, actually. It's not like particularly powerful, but it's a cool thing. It's just like, oh yeah, like I can see through foliage, it doesn't matter. If you have a DM who like knows what light obscurity actually does, then that's cool. Otherwise, that ability doesn't actually do much, but the other ability is very good anyway. So you need commas in there, such as light foliage, environments, comma, such as light foliage or fog, comma, because it's an example. I'll just move on to the rune scarred. Okay, right. That is... Protective Sigils is insane. That is, yeah. Protective Sigils is nuts. I mean, it's not about what stat it is. It's about what the fact that you can reroll a save at all. It would be additionally, whenever you make a saving throw, you may expend a hit die. If you do, roll a d4, adding the result to your save. You may expend a hit die and roll a d4, adding the result to your save. You may use this ability before or after you make your roll, but before the outcome is determined. No, that's unnecessary. This ability is still insanely powerful. Oh, and also... Oh, wait, no. Well... Yeah, no, that's probably okay there. That's certainly very strong, but... Hang on, I'll bring this back up on the screen. It's... spend a hit die to roll a d4 and add it to the result of your save. So it's clear. And the losing the force resistance thing is just kind of unnecessary bookkeeping. Because it's either never going to come up, and anytime it does, the player is never going to remember. And then Shadow Soul. Right, Shadow Sight is not really worth it. Let me look at Superior Dark Vision. Look at Drow. There we go. Oh no, I just need to look at like Elf, because Drow will be... 1 second. No. It's not about the number. It's about what it does to you. So it would be... Additionally... This alone, like just as a single ability, is fine. That like this ability does not warrant sunlight sensitivity because nothing warrants sunlight sensitivity. Sunlight sensitivity is awful. Like it's completely debilitating to a character. And also this is somehow worse. This is worse than sunlight sensitivity. Yeah, no, like cut all of that sensitivity stuff. That is a certainly for me is never play this, because it is like how often like obviously you're not always fighting out in the sun in the middle of the day, but it's not uncommon for you to do so. Yeah, I'm just gonna check something very quickly. But yeah, I say the race is fairly interesting. If this is like a setting race, then this is pretty cool. I think this works fairly well. Then they're not, aside from a few sort of choice abilities, they're not like super pushed. Right, I need to check something very quickly. No, not really. Out to a range of 30 feet? Nah. I'll say I was talking about protective sigils, which was absolutely bananas. But yeah, 100% like, Oh, did you change Shadow Sight to the thing that I sent? because like the hang on. There. I say the like 300 feet of dark vision is a class feature. Like that's like a Twilight Cleric thing, I think. So they probably shouldn't get that, but them just getting superior dark vision and like because Drow get sunlight sensitivity because they get superior dark vision and magic and other elf stuff. Yeah, it's still not worth having sunlight sensitivity, because sunlight sensitivity is like, oh yeah, do you want to, like, have fun playing the game? If not, then don't play a drow, basically. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'll probably be back in about 10 minutes or so. When I get back, I'm gonna carry on working on the spells and work my way through D and hopefully E as well. That's the aim, anyway. Although D, E, and F, because there's like one E spell and it's a cantrip. I'm almost certainly not gonna have to change. So yeah, so I'm gonna go do that. I'll be back shortly. So don't go anywhere unless you have somewhere to be, in which case do go there. Otherwise, maybe don't. I don't know. Do what you want. You know, I'm like a fucking puppet master. But yeah, I'll be back in a minute. See ya. It's a me, Spaghetti Mario. I return. From hell. From Bed, Bath, and Beyond. That isn't where I came from. I lied. I deceived you all. We're gonna carry on now. I'm gonna go through D, E, and F, and then call it quits. However long that takes me. If it takes me 20 minutes, if it takes me an hour, I'm gonna keep going until that's done. I'm hoping it doesn't take an hour. It shouldn't take an hour. There's not that many of these spells. I'm looking for Dead Sight, which is the next spell on my list. It's a 5th level spell, okay. Dead Sight, 5th level illusion, casting time 1 action, range 30 feet, verbal somatic material, a glass lens, duration 1 hour, for warlocks and wizards. You warp a creature's senses, forcing it to hallucinate vividly. The target creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. On a failure, it perceives all living or dead creatures as terrifying, ghoulish, phantom-like versions of that creature. Whenever the target starts its turn with a phantom creature in sight, it becomes frightened at the end of its next turn. If a creature ends its turn in a space where it cannot see any living or dead creature, it can repeat its saving throw against the spell, ending its effects on a success. A creature with true sight or a creature immune to curses is unaffected by the spell. This is cool. I think this needs a reword, but I think this works. It just needs to be like jigged around a bit so the wording is changed. But otherwise, I think it's fine. Creature with true sight is unaffected by the spell. Horrible sound. It's terrifying, ghoulish, phantom-like versions of that creature or corpse. This is a cool spell. I like this. Deluge. I remember this spell is 2nd level, and I think it's fine. It's like a simple damaging spell with a watery theme. Where is it? Deluge. 2nd level transmutation, casting time 1 action, range 30 feet, verbal somatic, instantaneous for sorcerers and wizards. You transmute the water from the air into a huge bubble of hovering water at a point you can see within range, dropping it on your enemies. Each creature in a 10-foot radius cylinder beneath the bubble must succeed on a strength saving throw. On a failure, a creature takes 46 bludgeoning damage and falls prone. On a success, the target takes only half damage. A creature of huge size or larger automatically succeeds on its saving throw against the spell. This needs to be changed simply on the grounds of the fact that I spelled huge. I did not capitalize the H in huge, and everything else about the spell is fine. Which is pretty funny. Everything else about this spell is just like inexplicably completely fine. To be fair, I kind of expected that. I knew this spell was like pretty much fine. Detect Emotions. This is a 1st level spell, I think. Detect Emotions, here we go. First level divination ritual. Casting time 1 action, range self, verbal somatic material, a flump tentacle. Concentration up to 10 minutes for bards, sorcerers, and wizards. For the duration, you can look into the hearts of others and sense the emotions of any creature within 30 feet of you. If you sense emotions in this way, you can use your action to sense. Okay, right, this spell is worded very strangely. For the duration, you look into the hearts of others and sense the emotions of and then it's sort of like a baby detect thoughts, where you just detect their emotions. Okay, right. That's fine. Displace. I remember the spell being fine, he says. Displace. 4th level Conjuration. Casting time 1 action, range 30 feet. Verbal somatic material, a vial of blood, and whale oil. Concentration up to 10 minutes. Conjure up an ethereal image of yourself from shadow stuff at a point you can see within range. The image is invisible and does not move or take actions. As a bonus action whilst you are still maintaining the spell, and the image is within 120 feet of you, you can teleport back to the image's space, ending the spell. Additionally, as an action, you can look through the image's eyes, seeing and hearing in a 30-foot radius around it, in both the ethereal plane and your current plane, all in black and white. While you take on the image's senses, your body is both blind and deaf. This spell is weird. Just the way that it's worded is weird. The effect is fine, but the wording is very strange. It's a cool spell though. I like it a lot. The image is invisible. Exists in the ethereal plane, but can be seen by you. Of course it doesn't move or take actions. But can be seen by you as bonus action in a turn. But can be seen by you and lasts until the spell ends. As a bonus action, whilst the image is within 120 feet of you, you can teleport back to the image's space, ending the spell. Additionally, as an action, you can look through the image's eyes, seeing and hearing in a 30-foot radius around it in both the ethereal plane and your current plane, all in black and white. Whilst you take on the image's senses, your body is both blind and deaf. And that's probably fine there. That's okay. And then at higher levels, it increases. This is conjuration. Like, hang on, let me red text that. Just to, or if anything, I'll probably bold that. Actually, that's probably more. Okay, right. Dissolving Downpour. Now this is a very interesting one here. If I remember correctly, I believe this is a 7th level spell. Yes, it is. 7th level evocation. It should be conjuration. 1 action, 120 feet. Verbal somatic material. A vial of potent acid worth at least 50 gold pieces. Concentration up to an hour. For sorcerers, warlocks, and wizards, you conjure a green cloud filled with acid high in the sky. The cloud fills a cylinder that is at least 10 feet tall with a 60-foot radius centered on a point you can see within range. The cloud fills a... Okay, right. Centered on a point you can see within range, and at least... You can see within range and at least 100 feet above you. The spell fails if you can't see a point in the air where the storm cloud could appear. For example, if you're in a room that cannot accommodate the cloud. Any creature that enters a space occupied by the cloud or starts its turn there must succeed on a Constitution saving throw or take 10d12 acid damage. At the end of your turn when you first cast the spell, acid begins to rain down from the cloud, filling a 60-foot radius cylinder that reaches the ground below the cloud until the spell ends. Any creature that enters the cylinder for the first time or starts its turn there must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. A creature that fails takes 60d12 acid damage, and if they wear non-magical armor or have natural armor, have their armor partially dissolved, taking a permanent and cumulative -1 penalty to the AC it offers. The armor is destroyed if its penalty reduces to 10. As a successful save halves any damage the creature would take. That's from the spell is very potent and will likely kill off a lot of wildlife. Should you concentrate on the spell for the full hour, all plants within the radius will have died, and no significant amount of vegetation can grow there for a number of months equal to 7 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. This spell is weirdly worded. Incredibly weirdly worded. The effect is fine, the damage is fine. It's just very strangely worded. Seemingly inexplicably as well. This should be conjuration. A green acidic cloud hides. The cloud fills a 10-foot high, 60-foot radius cylinder centered on a point you can see within range and at least 100 feet in the air. The spell fails if you can't see a point in the air where the storm cloud could appear. For example, where the cloud could appear. Let me just check the wording of call lightning and see if that is the correct wording. Yes. Yeah, that is the exact wording. That's fine. When a creature that enters the space occupied the cloud or starts its turn, they must succeed on Constitution saving throw or take 12 acid damage, taking half as much damage on a success. At the end of your turn, when you first cast the spell, acid begins to rain down from the cloud. Rain down the cloud for the duration, filling a 60-foot radius cylinder that reaches the ground below the cloud. Until the spell ends. Any creature that enters the area
or starts its turn there must succeed on a Constitution saving throw. A creature that fails takes 6d12 acid damage, and if they wear non-magical armor or have natural armor, have their armor take partially dissolved, taking a permanent and cumulative -1 penalty to the AC. -1 penalty to the AC it offers. The armor is destroyed if the penalty reduces its AC to 10. A successful save halves any damage the creature would take. Let me just read the wording of, like, the black pudding. That's probably the way to go here. Oh. Ow. Hair. Hair. Ow. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, no, that is very potent and will likely kill off a lot of wildlife. Should you concentrate on the spell for the full hour, all plants within the radius. Oh, darn. Any notable amount of vegetation for a number of years equal to 1 +1 for every 10 minutes you concentrated on the spell. So yeah, you basically just destroy a village with this spell. This is like the ultimate bad guy spell. This is just like a, oh yeah, you want to grow crops? Yeah, over the course of the next hour I will fill the ground with so much fucking acid that you will never be able to grow things here again. Or you will never be able to grow anything here again for like 6 years, which is more than enough time to force people to move somewhere else. You just destroy a town with this spell, and that's kind of cool. I mean, you don't have to do that, obviously, because it's kind of evil, but and any present vegetation will die from the acidic, there's a bug, acidic soil after 1d10 weeks. If it was not already destroyed by the spell. Oh. There we go. That's good. Doom. Now this spell needs to be changed quite drastically, actually. This is also a 7th level spell, I believe. It is. It's got a cool name, but it sucks, which is very sad. Doom, 7th level necromancy, casting time 1 action, range, touch, verbal summoning material, the skull of a humanoid, duration 24 hours. The druid should not get this spell, that doesn't make any sense. You touch a creature, placing a dark mark on its body that lasts for the duration. Whilst the mark is present, the creature has disadvantage on death saving throws. And whenever it suffers damage, it suffers 1d4. It suffers an additional 1d4 necrotic damage. If the creature dies before the spell ends, its soul is destroyed, preventing it from being revived by anything short of a wish or true resurrection spell. Can't spell resurrection, apparently. Okay, right. There we go. Now Doom actually does something. As opposed to kind of nothing. Drawmage's Instant Gallows is a very dark spell. I remember that much. I believe it's a third. See this bug flying around, I want to get it. It's too high up at the moment though. Shit. Third level conjuration, 1 action, 60 feet, verbal somatic material, a thick length. A thick length of rope. That should be not a length of thick rope, a thick length of rope. Concentration up to... I can't read that. Cleric, Sorcerer, Warlock, Wizard. You point to a creature and create a magical noose around its neck that attempts to lift it from the ground. The target creature must succeed on a strength saving throw or take 2d10 force damage. Let's make a strength saving throw. On a failure, it suffers 2d10 force damage and is lifted 5 feet into the air, suspended in place. On a success, it suffers half damage and suspended in place. In place, restrained. Other target subsequent turns. A creature that starts its turn restrained in this way suffers the damage again. Make the saving throw again, ending the spell on a success as they break free from the noose. So yeah, basically, you noose someone, which is real dark, but it's pretty cool. It's a hello, I'm evil spell. It's good fun. Next one is Dread Runes. And if I remember, Dread Runes is a pretty whack spell. Is it? Oh, I thought. Oh no, it's literally the next one down from Drawmage's Instant Gallows. Now this spell has like a bunch of different effects, and none of them really make any sense, so I'm just gonna like ignore them. must make an intelligence saving throw. Was frightened of the rune for 1 minute. Oh, the buggers. Oh, don't think I got it, but who knows. A creature, on a failure, a creature suffers 3d10 psychic damage and becomes frightened of the rune for 1 minute. In this way, it remakes its saving throw. We're just gonna, like, casually just kind of ignore the rest of this spell because it's dumb. It does a reasonable amount of damage and frightens everybody in the area. This is a neat spell. An inscription written in deep speech. That's a cool material component. I like that. Now onto the single E spell, which is a cantrip called Evad's Expulsion, which, if I remember correctly, is just a very simple spell that probably needs rewording. Evocation cantrip, 1 action, touch, verbal somatic material, should be self. Instantaneous. A burst of force pulses out from your body, forcing away enemies that have gone too close. Each creature within 5 feet of you must make a strength saving throw. Oh, the bug is here. I think I got it. I don't know. Each creature within 5 feet of you must make a strength saving throw. On a failure, a creature takes 1d6 force damage and is pushed 5 feet away from you. Isn't Thunderclap like this exact spell? Give me a second. Isn't this just a better Thunderclap? I swear it is. Yeah, it is. It is just a better Thunderclap. So yeah, we do need to change the spell, because it is just straight up a better version of Thunderclap. If anything, it probably shouldn't do damage. It's also worded horribly. Must succeed on a strength saving throw. So I've got to get going pretty soon, so I'm not sure if I'll get to the end of F. I'll take a look. How many spells have I got left to do? I have a fair amount of spells left to do. I've got like 5 more spells left on my list, so I may do this one, and I'll probably stop actually. But that's fine, because I'm going to be doing more of this tomorrow. I've also been streaming for like 5.5 hours today, so, you know, and I then have like a meeting to go to in like 10 minutes as well, so on a failed save, the creature, on a failed save, a creature is pushed 5 feet away from you. Or be pushed 5 feet away from you. the distance a creature is pushed by this spell increases by 5 feet when you reach. Yeah, that's simple, effective. That works. So yeah, I'd say that's probably going to be that for today. We got another sort of 20 odd spells done, I think. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. Oh shit, no, hang on, I lost count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We got 22 spells done in about 2 hours. So it's, yeah, 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18. So we're about 40 spells, which is a nice number. 40 over. We're 25% of the way through the archive in 2 streams. Do I want to spend 8 streams doing this? No. But I could do one big one, to be fair. I think, well, I don't really have time this week, to be fair, but I would, if I had the time, I probably would. I'll do some tomorrow. I'll see how far I get in the time. So, yeah, I'll be back to do some more of this tomorrow at about 5 o'clock. Working on some of my older stuff. So do drop by if you desire. I'm going to see if there's anyone to raid. There is not, so that's fine. So yeah, I'm going to head off now. I'll hopefully see some of you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Yeah, I'll see y'all later. See ya.